And I believe we are live. All right, so we are live. Let's get some housekeeping done real quickly before I jump into the actual, what you came here to see, which is painting. Let me just share this out real quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it onto my personal profile so more people can actually see it. And that's done. And don't forget to give StreamYard permission to show, give Facebook permission to show your comments on StreamYard by going to streamyard.com/Facebook. Because if you post a comment on Facebook and you don't give them permission, it's not going to show up here in StreamYard, which is where I'm streaming from. And I'm streaming to 3 different places today. My original art page on Facebook, my Lupus page, as well as YouTube. So I know that if you make a comment on YouTube, it'll show up here. That's a given. But Facebook, if you're doing it on Facebook, you have to give Facebook permission. And the link is there for you to go ahead and do that. Also, let me grab my notes. I did make some notes real quickly. On YouTube, if you are one of my 10,000 plus, yes, supporters, I did activate the super chat, which you'll be able to see at the bottom of the live chat. And that super chat looks like a $sign. So if you feel so inclined, you can support my channel simply by clicking on the $sign, which is the super chat at the bottom of the live stream on YouTube. All right. So like I said, I am streaming to YouTube and 2 places on Facebook, one of which is my art page. And I decided I would do something a little bit differently today because Tuesdays is usually my tea time Tuesday. So I'm tying in a little bit of, the tea, which is where you get the sip part, and then a little bit of like art therapy, so to speak. So you guys are going to be watching, but I am planning an event where you can paint along with me in the very near future. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end. All right. So I do have some tea today, and the tea that I'm drinking, I'll give you the ingredients so you can, if you want, and this will be recorded so you'll be able to go back and, write this down if you want. The tea I'm drinking is has licorice root in it, turmeric, orange peel, ginger, lemongrass, lemon peel, cinnamon, rose hips, spearmint, hibiscus, and rose petals. So that is what I am drinking today. Joy, hi, nice to see you. Happy Tuesday. So welcome to Tea Time Tuesday and, some art therapy, all of that wrapped into one. What I'm going to do is, let's just jump right into it, right? I have a painting behind me, which is very similar to the one that I'm actually going to be painting. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of my style before we start. So this is very, very similar to the one that I'm going to be painting today. The one I'm going to at least start to paint. This will probably be like a 2-day event because there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this today. I don't want to drag this live stream out and have you guys just watching me paint. So I will probably stop at 2 o'clock. And then we'll pick up again tomorrow where we can finish off, okay? So this is the one that I'm going to be painting today. You can see it's just a black and white drawing. But to give you an idea, these are the colors. And if you're familiar with my work, they're very, very bright and vibrant. So this is very, very similar. The one that I'm doing only has 1 house, but it does have the, that palm tree. You get that kind of a Key West feel to it. So let me go ahead and take that down. Put that to the side. I share with you a couple others that I've done. I've got them kind of hidden back here to give you an idea of some of the others that I've done in the This is one of my recent ones. I call this one Power Couple. Right here. And then this one is I actually finished this 2 nights ago, I believe. So you can see I paint with very, very vibrant colors. All right, so let me go ahead and put these to the side. And I'll give you an idea of how I come up with these ideas. A lot of my paintings, majority of my paintings actually, come from experience, something I've seen, something I've lived. But let me show you an example. This is a photograph. I'm hoping you can see it. It's a photograph of a cabin. I believe it's North Carolina or South. I know it's in one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which one. But this is the photograph that was taken of that little cabin with the river beside it. And then this is the actual painting that I did based on that photograph. Now you can see the painting is slightly different. In the original photograph, there is no fence at the front. Let me see if I can kind of clear it up. I know there's probably a glare. There's no fence in the front, but because that was kind of empty, I decided to, use my artistic license and create a fence. So you can see the vibrant colors as well. Let me see if I can find a bigger, here's a kind of a bigger image of it. All right. And this image right here, this was actually a commission several years ago. A couple was celebrating their anniversary and they asked me to do a painting for them. So that was a commission. So if you're interested in having a commission done, all you have to do is just send me a message in Facebook or on social media. I mean, I'm all over the place, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just send me a message and then we can talk about that. All right. So let's get to painting, shall we? That's what you came here to see, right? Okay, so this is the one we're going to be doing. It's very, very simple. It's a basic. I have a way of really simplifying a drawing. The complexity of my artwork really comes in with the colors that I add in, right? So I add in a lot of really bright and vibrant colors, and even if I did this painting 3 times, I will never be able to duplicate it exactly because of all of the different colors that I would be using. All right, so I already have some of the paints prepared. I do work in acrylics. I have 3 bottles of water, 1 to wash the brushes out, 1 to rinse the brushes out, and a 3rd one to rinse the brushes out even more. My tea is covered because there was a time when I had a cup of my turmeric milk beside my cup that I washed the brushes out in, and I accidentally dipped my dirty brush into my turmeric milk. So this one does have a cover on it. And I'm sure that as an artist, if you've probably done something like that, right? So we're gonna just go ahead and get going. I use, I'm not gonna go into sizes or anything right now. I basically use whatever brush feels comfortable for the part that I'm working on. I know some people like to describe the size of the brush, and most of mine are flat. There's the occasional round ones, but most of mine are flat brushes, and a lot of these I've had for probably 15 or more years. Like these 2, I've had these for over 15 years. They still work. I think one of them comes off, but I just work with it very, very carefully. It's a very, very, very good brush. So those are the brushes that I'm going to be working with. And I have some palettes. So you might see me, let me just get these back on here. You might see me bend down occasionally to try to pick up a palette. This is because I have several palettes already prepared. All right, so let's get going. The colors that I have in this little palette are bluegrass green, Kelly green, and then there's a darker green. I don't remember which one that is. So I'm going to I like to start working with the trees and get those cut in. And if you have questions, just feel free to just pop them in the chat wherever you are. I am actually watching them on StreamYard, so I can see all of the comments, whether they're from Facebook or StreamYard. And yeah, let's get going. So I'm going to put in the darker layers first. And there's no like being perfect here. I just slap the paint on because this is just laying a foundation. And sometimes when I start painting, I kind of block everything out. So if I don't say anything, forgive me. It's just I tend to get in the zone, you know what that means? But I will periodically check. And I do have a friend in the background who is checking on comments, who will, periodically nudge me if I get too quiet. So I like to lay down the darker color first, and then I lay the lighter ones on top. And I'm not being perfect about it. I'm just slapping some foundation color on. Probably need a little bit of water in this one. This is a little thick. I've had some of these paints for a while, so they've begun to thicken up. So. And without cleaning the brush, what I like to do is just dip right into the next color, which is going to be bluegrass green. Some people like to wash out one color and before they start, but not me. This is just foundation, so it's not going to be, we're not looking at perfection. You see, I'm just going right over the areas that are already painted. Not everything, but it's kind of laying down some framework. When I tend to use like a set of colors or a group of colors to get in, all over the painting rather than switching constantly from one to the next. So I just like to, I'm doing all the greens, so let's just get all of that on. Get some Kelly green in there. Oh, let me tell you what I'm working on. This is actually paper, but it is very thick wallpaper. It's this kind of stuff that they use on the walls, but it's extremely thick. And this is what I started out. I've had this drawing for quite a while and just haven't done anything with it. So I decided I'd just go ahead and do this as a live. But lately I've just been painting on canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. But this paper is extremely thick, and I do have it taped down to a piece of foam core so that it stays flat while I'm working on it. And then, but once I take it off and it's dried, it stays completely flat, then it can be framed. So you'll notice that I do have work on my Facebook art page that has some work on canvas and some on paper that is framed. That's the reason. So this is actually on paper. So for the upcoming live stream where you're going to be following along, if you wish to do that, you can simply go out and get yourself either a piece of foam core from the Dollar Tree, which is it's very easy to paint on, or you can get just a poster board. And then all I'll do is I'll teach you how to draw it down, and we go from there. I'll give you a basic list of the colors that you might want to get, the paints you might want to get, and you can even buy paints from the Dollar Tree. I mean, Dollar Tree has everything these days, everything. So you can buy your paints from there if you don't want to invest a ton of money right now and you just want, to have some fun. I can give you a basic list. You can also go to Hobby Lobby or to Walmart, Michael's. They have some acrylic paint. Great. I mean, you probably pay $1 for a 3 or 4 ounce bottle. It's not a huge investment, and you have them for a while. The Americana from Michael's, I know it's probably about 97 cents, maybe $1.25. I don't know, but you can find them. Very, very reasonable paints. Okay, you don't have to invest a bunch. And I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to send you out to get every color that I have in my arsenal, because you probably won't use half of them. I use a lot of them for like detail work, but I can certainly give you a basic list to have for whenever we do that live stream. All right. So you can still paint and not have to invest a bunch of money in it. All right. So let's over here. That one. I don't know if you can see at the very bottom. Yeah, you can. So I just like to cut in all of the areas that I know are going to have some green in them right now. You get those covered. Get a little bit of one. I don't always water down my paints because these are liquidy as they are. All right, where else? Let's just use the rest of this and just... Rather than have it sitting here to dry out, I just use it up on areas here. These might not necessarily remain green, but at least I'm not wasting the paint. I just cut in. All right. Let me go ahead and wet my finger. If you have any questions, just simply pop them in the chat, because otherwise I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep painting. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the sky area and then just gradually come down. Okay, so what I'm doing today, for those of you who just popped in, I'm simply just laying the foundation colors, and then I'll let this dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll pick up for round 2. So I'll probably go for about maybe 2 hours today. So, I don't want to be painting the whole time. So feel free to pop questions or comments in the chat, and we can interact that way as well. All right. So I'm going to start working from up here. Let me grab those. Like I said, I had some colors already prepared. What I do is I have these mini palettes. Let me show them to you. These are mini palettes. They come with 6. Make sure I don't spill. And I got these from the Dollar Tree. I think they're a pack of 6 that come in. So I just fill up a few and then I slide it into a Ziploc bag and seal it. That way they don't dry out before I'm ready to use them. So just takes a little bit of preparation. Let me grab another brush. All right. Go ahead and I'll come back later on and bring those out again. For now, I just need to get the sky in. Let's see. Set that down for a minute. I'm going to pull this one out because I like to use pinks and purples in the sky. Let me grab this one. And again, I'm not cleaning my brush. Hi, Siobhan. That's my baby girl. Well, she's not such a baby anymore. I mean, she's a grown woman at 24. Thanks for watching, my girl. Right. I told you I have somebody in the background who kind of gives me a little bit of a nudge whenever I'm not, I kind of get into the zone when I'm painting. Oh, my Auntie Dina. Wow, the painting is looking beautiful. This is my dream and desire to start to learn to draw and paint. You're really talented. Keep up the great job. I really love it. Oh, thank you. Well, you can join me on what is it? I'm gonna do like a live painting for whoever wants to be there, but I'm gonna give you plenty of time to get some paper, some brushes, Even if you want to just use your fingers, you can do finger paint. Everybody's work will look differently, but it will be your own. All right. Lady Ripple, beautiful art. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Thank you. And thanks to everyone who's out there watching. Thanks. Let me, all right. So how's it looking from there? I'm my worst critic, so, you know. I think every artist is their worst critic. So this is just foundation right here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of start cutting in. This is like a mountainside, you know, but what I'm gonna do is probably add like a layer of wildflowers streaming down the side of the mountain. We'll see. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of color coming down. Notice I'm still working with the same brush. I'm going to take this same thing and I'm going to kind of just add some of this along the ground just to use it up. I don't like to waste the paint, so if I have some left in here, I just add it in as background and layer on top. And you'll see as I build on the painting what happens. I'll just add. Just cutting in those coconuts. That background here is going to be developed a lot more, so I'm just kind of, you know, trying to use up the paint that's on the palette. All right, let's set this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and wash out this brush. So I can use that again. What I'm going to do now is work on the house. And I have another palette here with some colors. And these are some of the colors I use most frequently in all of my paintings, so you'll see them occur regularly. Actually, I got some blue left here. Let me go ahead and build this up on the cabin. I'm gonna need a little bit more of the blue. Let me just grab a little bit more. Now let's work on the rest. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. All right, so the roof typically on most of my paintings will be like a red color. And I have two reds. I have a Santa red, and then I just have a regular tempera paint. This is just a red, but I have Santa red as well as this one, and this comes from the Dollar Tree. This big tube is a buck, so you can certainly get some really nice colors. And this is tempera. This is an acrylic, but it is water based. Okay, so you can get these from the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm using a combination of that one and Santa red for the roof. Since I have a little bit of this left, what I'm going to do is kind of add in a little bit of color. It's kind of early to do this, but I'm going to show you just what I'll be doing later on. Like right in between here, I'll add in a little bit of color just to kind of give an imagination that there's flowers in there. And they might become something later on, but I'm just using up the color that's on my palette. Yeah, just to give an idea, maybe there's like other bushes around. Let's work on the background a little bit. Back in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put in this light green, but I know that it's gonna be darker eventually. Let me set this down because I'm shaking. Let me get some more of that green. Hi, Gina. Can you remove the Facebook comment from Dina? It's blocking. Oh, okay. No worries. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Beverly. Sorry, guys. All right. So let me go ahead and get some more of this green. I'm just adding some color to the background. It's not necessarily going to remain all this green in here, but just to add a foundation. All right. Thank you, Beverly. Sorry about that, everyone. I'd like to give a shout out to people who comment. But sometimes, I guess in this case, it's not always, right. The perfect time to do it. A lot of people tend to ask me, where do you get your ideas as far as color? I was talking to a friend earlier, and he said to me, and after he said the comment, I realized just how different I really see things. Because when I look at a blank canvas, I can already see the colors that I want to use. If I take a picture or if I see a certain picture, I can automatically kind of see a painting in there and know what colors I would use if I were to create a painting from it. So I think I just have a different way of viewing the world, really. And we were talking about me, when I go into nature, when I go into a forest, a lot of people will just see trees, but I will see the texture of the bark on the tree, and I will see the ants crawling in between the cracks, and the birds in their nests, and I listen to the sounds. So I guess all of my senses are really open whenever I go into nature. And so I guess that's why sometimes I can't understand if people go into nature and not to get, like really into it. And that's me, because I guess I just have a different way of seeing things. And whenever I'm doing a painting, I just see very, very vibrant colors. When I remember going down to Key West, and this image is actually inspired by a trip to Key West, and just if you've never been there, the colors on these houses down there are amazing. It's an island feel, and I grew up on an island, so it's you get that kind of a feel whenever you see all of these colors. But even before then, I've always seen very, very vibrant images whenever it came to painting. So that's why I like to use these bright images. You can't look at one of my paintings and be depressed. I mean, seriously, they're just so bright. And then what you call it, the subject matter. Yeah, I try not to paint anything that's too depressing. But there was a time when I was going through a really bad bout with lupus way back in the day, and I did paint for like 100 days, 101 days, and I created a painting every single day, and that was kind of my way of working through the illness as well. So there were some paintings created during that time that were a little bit of a downer, but it was my way of processing certain things that I was feeling at the time. I had been diagnosed with depression many years ago, and that was my way of working through a lot of the emotions I was feeling, as far as what the lupus had been doing to my body, that sort of thing. So, but aside from those, my paintings and even then, all of my paintings were very, very vibrant. It could be even the painting where I was processing all of the depression. Even that was a very, very vibrant painting as well. It's just that the subject matter of the person with the head down, you could tell that I was in kind of a funk during that time, but it was still very vibrant colors. I just had a thing for bright colors. All right, so a little bit about how I come up with the subject matter as well as the colors. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of fill in the fence right here because I don't want that to get too lost, but I'm just going to give it a nice bright yellow so it's there. And then what I do is I always end up coming back and bringing in some like some lavender to give the impression that there's like um, flowers growing on it, that sort of thing. And I also bring in some white to really let it pop. At the end of the painting, the house and the fence will pop out as well as the palm tree. Right, so let me go ahead and just cut this in right here. This is just framework color. Let's give it like a sun-kissed look at the top of the trees. Just adding in a little bit of yellow. Just using up what's on the palette. But I do need to get a little bit more brown. I can add into the background. A little bit of this. Grab a smaller brush. All right, so what do you think so far, guys? This is just foundation work. So this is the only time where painting a foundation really fast is good. And then we build from here. All right, let me grab my tea. Grab a sip. So what are you all drinking today? Because this is supposed to be a sip and paint kind of thing, right? Mine, like I mentioned earlier, is I've got a lot in here. There's a lot going on. Licorice root, ginger, turmeric, lemongrass. I wrote the stuff down. Hibiscus, rose petals, rose hips, spearmint. Really, really good, but very anti-inflammatory. So really good tea. So pop in the chat what you guys are drinking if you're drinking anything. And it doesn't have to be tea, even though this was a Tea Time Tuesday. And thanks for all the love that you guys are showing. All right, so let me go ahead and just fill in here, and then I'm going to start a little bit of detail work today. Let me see if all of this, when some of this is dry, then I can start doing some detail work. Let me grab some. Let me go ahead and use up this color that's on here because I don't want this to dry out. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. You will begin to realize from my paintings that nothing is the color that they are in nature. They can be anything you want. As an artist, you can paint a human being purple if you wish. I mean, look at Picasso, right? Salvador Dali. Nothing is the way that they look in nature. So I don't like wasting the paint, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here as foundation. Then I can build from this tomorrow as well. Right. Let me go ahead and cut in that I'm going to cut in the palm tree here. I didn't paint that spot. I find it interesting that you choose a color because you didn't want it to dry out. It works. Yeah, I just, when I'm building the foundation, if I have some extra left, I just put it on. And then when it's after everything is dried, then I go and I can start building. Let me show you I don't know if you were online when I showed the an example before. Let me grab it. Okay, this is one that's very similar to the one I'm working on right now. Okay, very similar to the one that I'm working on. And a lot of this was just paint that I didn't want to dry out, so I added it and then I just built up details. So you can see the ground here. A lot of this, yes, was just excess paint that was just thrown on, but as it dried, I just developed it into like a little garden. You see, I don't waste the paint. I let the paint just develop and build the painting eventually. So yeah, because this is just the foundation. Now some of this will remain, and then I'll go in and I'll cut in maybe like some waves in the ground. So I'll develop that using different colors and maybe put a patch of a garden built on top of one section. Maybe there's some flowers in one spot. So I'll just build from there. So, even though I say I don't like the paints I don't like to waste the paint. I mean, they do serve their purpose. So I do have an idea of what I want the painting to look like. I can actually see the finished painting in my head, not with every little bit of detail, because as time goes on, I'll add a little bit of flowers in there. Maybe I'll add a potted plant sitting on the windowsill. Maybe I'll add like a little light on inside of the cabin, and I'll add some fluorescent yellow in there so that when the lights are turned off, the window actually glows. So it looks like there's a light on in the cabin. I've done that on a few of my paintings before. So yeah, just little things like that. So I'll just take excess and I'll just like gradually start to build in like mounds on the ground. Let me go ahead and fill in here. So this literally is just the foundation, and I'll just build from here. So the colors are chosen because I'm working with them in different areas, but if I find that I have excess in the palette, then I just go and I'll just put it on wherever, just so it doesn't get wasted. To have a little bit of this pink left, I'll just go ahead and put it in with where the lavender is, because lavender and pink work really well together. We have a little bit of red. Let's go ahead and right, let me add some color inside. Get a little bit of lavender real quick. I'm just going to add in like a little tree in the background, maybe a vine back here to kind of break up that color a little bit. Just to give the impression that maybe there's some wildflowers growing along the top. So you can see from here now, oops, what I'm going to start doing is just adding in detail work. So this is basically the foundation. I'm hoping it's coming across. It looks a little different on there. But this is just basically the foundation of the painting. And then once all of this is dry, I can go in and start really cutting in detail, adding some more detailed color, because then I'll build up the trees a little bit more for those to pop. I'll add in a little bit more detail to the house. Actually, let me get in the yellow in the windows, because I do want there to be light inside the window. Let me add just a little bit. And then I'm going to look for that fluorescent color that I have, and at the end of the painting I'll show you what I mean by the fluorescent. So I'll add this as a background color, and then I'll add in a little bit more white after, and then also a little bit of the fluorescent to bring out the windows. Okay. Any questions? Me got one. Okay, got it. I'm just checking out the comments. All right, so what I'm going to do is just start adding in a little bit of the detail today, and then I'll come back tomorrow and we can I'll show you how I go into a lot of the building up all of the detail in there. Okay, let me add a little bit more detail onto the trees. So you notice that these are all just basic bleh. What I'm going to do is add a little lighter colors now to really let them pop off the screen. I'm going to use a little bit of Kelly Green. This is Kelly Green and Huser Light Green. Those two will help it to pop. And then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to kind of bring out that sun-kissed. We'll pretend it's like a really sunny day in Italy, or down in, well, they don't have palm trees in Italy. So this will be Key West. And there'll be, the sun will be reflecting on the tips of the trees. All right, so let me get some more green. And these are some of my favorite greens, Huser Light Green and Kelly Green. They really let your work pop. All right, so let me go ahead and start adding in hopefully you can see that green, how that just allowed it to pop off though. Once I start adding in some black and white as well, you'll notice the difference that those two colors make. The black and white really add the contrast. Let me grab one color real quickly. Give me 1 sec, I'm just grabbing the color. I just want to bring out the stems of the trees. I'm just going to use this purple. Using this purple for now, and then I'm going to cut it in with some black later on. And see that they actually do have trunks. You can see the difference now while they're standing out. You can see how the dark stands out against the light. Those are you want to look for contrast in the color as well as contrast in light and dark. So I have contrast with the red against the blue. The red is a warm color, the blue is a cool color. So you have warm against blue. And then of course there's contrast in the different colors in the shades of the green that I use here. And then contrast with the light of the trees versus the dark. So those are the type of things that I'm working on right now. Because all of these allow, allow different things to really pop off the screen. Or to pop off the painting, I should say. Just going to cut those back in. I notice I'm not being perfect. These will eventually become palm trees again. I'm just placing them in there so they don't get hidden by the sky. I'm adding a little bit of detail in here. Get a little bit more. Didn't plan for all of that to come out, but I'll work with it. Thank you, Francesca. All right, so let me add a little bit. So how's that looking? Okay. You just kind of fill in a little bit more there. And then have a little bit of paint. This is kind of like the lawn, but we're gonna, add a lot of color. All right, I think this is going to be a good place to stop because I really want all of this to dry before I start adding any detail on top. If I try to add, if I go and start adding other stuff on top of it, now it's going to create like a muddy effect, so we don't want that. All right, so this would be a good spot to stop. Hopefully you guys can see it properly. Yeah. It's looking really good from my end. Hopefully it looks the same from your end. And like I said, I'm my worst critic, so for me to even say that, but it's looking pretty good. So tomorrow, I'm going to say tomorrow's Wednesday, around the same time tomorrow, we'll pick up and we'll start doing some detail work. If you have any questions, or if you posted any questions and I don't see them, it's probably because you're on Facebook and you haven't given StreamYard permission, but I will definitely go in and respond to those and pick up tomorrow here on, I think around the same time. Was this a good time for all of you? I think it looked like we had quite a few people that were on. So we'll do this. It might be a little bit longer tomorrow, might be a little less, because it's, like I said, it's going to be most of the really, like, I don't want to say the hard work, but a lot of the foundation has now been laid. So we're going to just go in and start adding in a little bit of detailed color to let everything pop from here. All right. So thank you guys for watching. I know there were quite a few of you on at this time, and I really enjoyed it. I hope I didn't just kind of zone out on you, because I know I have a tendency to do that whenever I'm painting. But I think I did pretty good popping in and checking the comments. So I know, thank you so much. I think this is the first live painting I've done in a long time. But like I said, I am considering doing, let me get down a little lower. I'm considering doing a paint along with me kind of deal. So if you're interested in something like that, please let me know. I will give you plenty of time to get the material together. You don't need anything, fancy like a big canvas or anything. Like I said, you can go to the Dollar Tree. You can get a sheet of poster board. I tend to work in a square. So, no, but I think the one that I will work with you through can be done using a rectangle. There's a regular poster board. So if you just buy a sheet of the white poster board, I think that will be good. Thanks, Dina. And then I will just give you a list of the basic colors that you need. And, you can simply mix. I'll show you, your red and blue make purple, yellow and blue make green. So but it's entirely up to you if you want to go out and purchase all of those individual colors, because you can get a lot of them from the Dollar Tree, and you can certainly go to Michael's and pick up a few things from there as well, because the acrylic paints, let me show you the ones that I'm working with. The apple barrel, these I think are maybe 80 something, 90 something cents for the bottle, and they'll last you a while. So if you want to continue doing something like your painting afterwards, the Americana is a little bit more expensive, but they're slightly better quality. So if you want to invest in some Americana, you can. This one, this is apple barrel as well. I do have a few. Hold on a second. Now these, you'll see me using these tomorrow whenever I'm doing detail work. This is Liquitex, and Liquitex is very vibrant, nice shine to it. So I tend to use this particular red along the roof because I like the roof to pop. So for detail stuff, I'll use the Liquitex, and this particular red. What kind of red is this? Cardamom red. So we'll use this one, and this is going to be the most expensive bottle of or container of paint that you buy. The Liquitex is not a cheap brand, but for detail stuff, it's if you want to really have some areas kind of pop, then the Liquitex brand is a good way to go. So you'll see me use this tomorrow to do the detail on the roof, as well as bring in some detail in the flowers that I want to pop. And then white, if you're going to get white paint, get a nice white paint. I tend to get the Americana white and get a nice jet black. Those are some of the basic: green, yellow, red, white, black. Let me share with you some of the blues that I use. I love to use the turquoise. This is a turquoise, and that's by Apple Barrel. I also like Americana. This is an Indian turquoise. This is a really pretty color, and I love using that in the sky. And we'll develop the sky just a little bit more tomorrow as well. So Americana. This one is also Americana. It's a different shade of turquoise, but you can see it's just slightly. So I like to combine them, but you can simply just get one. You don't have to get all of them. And this is Cobalt Blue, and this is by Apple Barrel. I use this a lot, so I buy the big containers, and whenever you can find paint on sale, I know occasionally Americana goes on sale at Michael's, so whenever it does, I tend to stock up then. But like I said, you don't have to get a ton of paint, just get your basic colors like I've been working with. You can always look back and see, you know, there's Kelly Green, of course, Hues are Light Green by Americana, Kelly Green by Americana, and Bluegrass Green also by Americana. Those are the three greens I tend to use a lot, especially when it comes to the trees. All by Americana. Bluegrass Green, Hues are Light Green, and Kelly Green. And I know you're probably saying, oh my gosh, there's a lot of different shades of green. Yes. Walk out into nature, you don't see just one shade of green, right? There's, if you look at the grass, that's why it comes with, you know, bluegrass green. That's where it gets that name from. So there's all different shades of green. But you, like I said, you don't have to invest in all of these. If all you want to do is to just come and have some fun painting, just buy yourself some basic colors like you see here. All right. And then later on, as you get a feel for the painting a little bit more, then you can certainly invest in a little bit more colors along the way. And we can also start doing a little bit more challenging artwork along the way. So the one I'm going to share with you, I will put it in the link, the one that I would like for us to do together. It's quite simple. It's just a guy playing a guitar. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'll put a poll, and I'll have you choose either between the guy playing the guitar or a simple landscape like this. All right. And maybe we'll do the simple, whichever one you choose first, that gets the majority vote, and then later on we'll do another one. But I think it'd be fun to do a paint along kind of thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, just simply put a comment and I will get planning on it. And like I said, I'll give you plenty of time to get your supplies together. All right. And it will be free. It'll be a free event. But like I said, I do have Super Chat on my YouTube channel. So if you feel like supporting my YouTube channel, there is a Super Chat enabled where you can go ahead and you can donate to my channel. All right. So that is always there. Okay. So I will see you all tomorrow at around noon. I will go ahead and I will plan it, and I'll send out a link so that you can set a reminder for yourself. Thank you all so much. This is where we got to today, and we'll continue to develop tomorrow. Hi, Quincy. That's my oldest child. So I had my two oldest pop in today. My youngest should be downstairs doing schoolwork. All right. So I will see you all again tomorrow. And thank you so much for all the love. I see a lot of people posted, hearts and likes and that sort of thing. And thank you so much for taking this time and spending it with me. And I will see you again tomorrow around the same time. If you want to bring some paints along and, some paper and just kind of play along, feel free to do that. But like I said, I'll plan ahead for something that we can do together. All right. Much love to all of you, and I will see you all again real soon.